You clicked on this video because you want the D, and today I will give you the D. Hey friends, Ash here. Welcome back to Gents. The D that I'm talking about, of course, which you already know, is D by Diesel, right? This is what you thought when you hear give them the D. Yes, D by Diesel, one of the new releases from the house of Diesel, which is most well known for their jeans, but they have a lot of fragrances also. Let's go ahead and jump into the D. I will show you the presentation. I will break it down for you, let you know how it smells, and let you know whether or not you yourself may want to get your own bottle of D. And friends, I will have this linked in the description below. Feel free to check it out down there. And also check out my fragrances, if you don't mind. They don't have cool names like D, but Blue Ridge, Terra Nova, Jet Black Enigma, those are the three. You can find them at every Perfumania store and every fragrance outlet store in the United States. So feel free to walk into one of those and do what I'm doing. Or maybe don't, you look weird. But check them out, give them a spray, give them a wear, see if you like them. And if you order them off the internet, which is also linked down below at Michael Malul's website, use the code GENTS for 20% off your order, so you can save at least a little bit of money. Oh, and also, Terra Nova is nominated for Men's Fragrance Release of the Year by the Fragrance Foundation, so thank you for the support to help it get to that point. All right, presentation time of the D. Here we got the box. You have the name of the fragrance, name of the house right there on the front. Eau de Toilette is the concentration. Up top, it says D for successful living. On one side, Diesel for successful living. And on the other side, it lets you know that you can refill the bottle and lets you know that it has recycled ingredients in both the bottle and the box. And then this is kind of interesting, but at the bottom there, it says 2 fragrance ingredients, vanilla infusion and Diva Lavender Heart sustainably sourced. I can't think off the top of my head of another fragrance that tells you, hey guys, 2 fragrance ingredients. It's just kind of an odd thing to highlight. I guess really the thing that they're highlighting there is that they're sustainably sourced, but still kind of funny. On the back, you have your ingredient information and your barcode. And on the bottom, your batch code, which is 38WO1MM. And here we have the bottle, which I gotta say, when I first saw the bottle, I thought it looked hideous. It looks kind of like a melting, I don't know, milk carton or something. It says Diesel on the front there for successful living, but in actuality, the bottle's kind of cool. And the way that it is warped actually makes it fit your hand really, really well. So I was wrong. It's actually pretty cool. On top of the cap, it says D for successful living once again, and on the bottom, you have a sticker with your badge code. The cap slides into place, and it is very, very lightweight. Very cheap filling, I guess. And you know what time it is. It's time to share some sprays. Let's check the atomizer out. Here we go. It is okay, but not fantastic. Let's talk really quickly about the note breakdown for D by Diesel. If you look on the box, as I showed you before, it does mention 2 fragrance ingredients, vanilla and lavender. If you look on Fragrantica's website, it has vanilla, lavender, and ginger as the full note breakdown. But if you go to Macy's and you look up the fragrance for purchase, then you get the full note breakdown, which is a top of ginger and bergamot. So bergamot was missing on Fragrantica. The mid has lavender, but it also has a denim cotton accord. That's pretty unique. And then in the base, bourbon, vanilla, and amber woods. So at least that gives you a little bit more of an idea of the fragrance other than just, hey, vanilla, lavender, done. Now when I got this fragrance in, I did not expect very much. Didn't expect anything at all, to be frank with you. Again, before I got the fragrance and held it in my hand, I thought the bottle was ugly. It has not received the greatest reviews online. So didn't think much, and really a lot of Diesel fragrances are not that good. I mean, some of them are okay, but a lot of them are kind of rough. So how's this smell? Well, when you spray it on, it's very fresh, like super fresh actually, even very slightly metallic, you could say, underneath the ginger and citrus in the open. So it's very zingy, You might even say like shower jelly to an extent. I actually had my wife smell this when I first sprayed it on, and she said that is one of the most generic things I have ever smelled. And I think that's one of the issues you're gonna run into with the opening of D by Diesel, is that it is generic in the opening. It's one of those deals where you smell it and you just think to yourself, oh yeah, that's been done like probably 12 dozen times, a dozen times. And yeah, it definitely in the opening to me comes across generic. I know that's just such a generic thing to say, to just throw that out there, but when you smell it, yeah. Like how many times have you smelled a very fresh shower jelly, slightly metallic, fresh soap, ginger citrus open? Untold times. And yeah, there's nothing to really set this apart in the opening. It's kind of synthetic smelling, but it is, at the end of the day, still fresh, pretty easy to wear. It's just one of those things that doesn't really do much. Now, as it starts to dry down, it does smell better. The vanilla comes out more, and it starts to smell kind of like a fresher, sort of modern take on the Le Mans DNA style, with the lavender and the vanilla in there, that kind of clean vibe, but Le Mans has more of a powdery feel to it, whereas this is much more fresh. And I've actually seen a whole bunch of people go a whole bunch of different ways in how they pick up as it dries down. When I just say D, it makes me think of the old horror game from back in the day. Anybody out there that played D or D2, let me know in the comments. Gotta be at least a couple of you. But anyway, as this hits the dry down, people start to diverge on how they pick this up. Some people have said it smells like Code Absolute by Giorgio Armani, and I don't get that at all. Even into the dry down when the vanilla comes out more here, they are very, very different. So I don't think at all that, at least for me off my skin, that D smells like any of the Codes. And even though I compared it a little bit to Jean-Paul Gaultier's Le Mans, it doesn't really smell super like Le Mans either, because it does have a much different take on that style of scent, that vanilla, lavender. Again, as I said, this comes across fresher, less powdery, and part of that freshness, I guess, is going to be coming from that cotton accord, that denim cotton accord. It does still have an air of been there, done that, as it heads through the mid and the dry down. You're going to be able to pick out similarities to some other things out there, which, as I said, a lot of people have gone a lot of different ways with how they do pick this up, how they do interpret this as it dries. For me, it just becomes very slightly sweeter and a little warmer with that kind of amber woody vanilla dry down, while still maintaining that bit of shower gel freshness well into the mid. Once it hits the dry down, it dissipates, but it keeps it for a while. I think the dry down here smells, as I said, much better than the opening. I think it's more appealing. It's not as synthetic. It's not as overly generic as the opening. And I think actually there's a solid scent in here, like a solid wearable fragrance once you head out of the opening. I mean, yeah, fresh, sweet lavender vanilla combo has been done, but it works. I think the main issue for me is going to be the price point, because this one, for a 100 ml size bottle, is more than I would suggest anyone to pay for it. This size, 50 ml, $70 at retail. 100 ml is $92 at retail. It's not worth that. For me, with what else you can get, it's just not worth the price. Joma Shop, as of this video, you can get a 100 ml for $60. So that price is a bit better, but I still think 60 is too much. This is one of those deals where I feel like if you could find it, $35, something like that. And this is just me kind of contrasting and comparing mentally right now on the spot what other things you can get in that price range. I think around there, you'd be doing pretty well. I think once you creep up over $50, it starts to be not quite as attractive. 60 for 100 mils, like I said, at Joma Shop right now, that's on like the upper end of what I would suggest. It's pleasant, it's easygoing, but it's been done, and so that's the thing. It's not that it smells grotesque. The opening, like I said, is forgettable, very forgettable, but past that, it's okay. But then there is one other drawback, and that is the performance off my skin, not fantastic. To be fair, you probably wouldn't expect fantastic performance, but that'd be a nice surprise. This one, in terms of projection, it's pretty good initially. When you first spray it on, you can pick it up easily. Then it does start to sit a little closer to the skin as it heads out of the opening. It's not overly weak. It's just what I would call a little bit below average after it settles down. And then in terms of longevity, off my skin, it's like 4 to 5 hours. So again, nothing great, but pretty much in line with what I would expect, because it is, after all, an eau de toilette, and it's not really a fragrance that they're pitching as a super powerful scent or anything. I will also say that while I believe that it's marketed as a unisex fragrance, it definitely leans masculine. Although everywhere that I've seen it, it's listed as a men's fragrance in terms of the stores. Like on Macy's, it's in their cologne section. I don't know if there was like a disconnect there someplace or what, but it's definitely more of a masculine fragrance. So D by Diesel, overall, I don't hate it. I think that after the opening, it smells really pleasant. It's not anything really unique, as I've said a number of times, so you could knock it for that. And I do think that for what the fragrance is and the price point that it's going for currently, it's not really a good buy. But if that price at discounters drops, then at that point, it does become a lot more interesting. And then I think you could work this in for a lot of different things, a lot of different uses. And then the performance doesn't matter so much. You could spray it pretty heavy, or you could wear it as a lighter fragrance that would give you a nice, pleasant kind of vanilla waft, you know? Just like a second skin type of thing. Well, not that it's that weak, but you get the idea. D by Diesel, worth sampling. If you get past the opening and find that the dry down works for you, I'd be a little patient, try to scoop it up for a discount in the future. Thank you all for hanging with me. Stay safe out there. I'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you later.